What happens when you get into debt?
Get out now.
No.
Come back with a police officer.
Don't force me. You calm down.
And you can't.
I haven't got any money.
Or won't pay it back.
Get off on my property.
In this series, we meet the people who are losing their homes.
Hello, would you like to open the door?
I've got 24 hours. Find somewhere else to go.
Their cars.
Can you pay this rent or not? I can't go with you now. I'm not going to take your cars.
And their possessions.
Can't afford to pay the rent, but £700 telly.
We meet the people who are owed money.
Just got taken advantage of, big time.
And the people whose job it is to collect it.
I don't want to touch that.
Don't panic.
Because when you can't pay, they'll take it away.
We'll start unplugging and get things wrapped up for transportation.
You pay me, and then I'll start.
According to figures from the Ministry of Justice, nearly 40,000 tenants had their homes repossessed in 2013.
Clapton, East London. High Court enforcement agents Paul, Steve and Ben are evicting a tenant and her two small children from their rented flat.
Evictions at the moment is the growth industry. So we're now doing probably 20 to 25 evictions every week. So I think we're only seeing the start of an avalanche of evictions.
The tenant has lived in the property for 4 years. No rent has been paid for 6 months, and the tenant now owes over £7,000. The High Court writ means the agents have the power to evict the tenant immediately.
Good morning. Yes. High Court enforcement. And we've come to repossess the property today.
Can I make a quick call?
Make a call.
She hasn't paid any rent.
Gosh, there's two little ones, really little. It's very difficult when there's children involved because you're putting them out on the street through no fault of their own. We can only do as best we can to make sure that their safety and rehoming is done as easy and as quickly as possible.
The tenant came to the UK from Italy 7 years ago. She has 2 very young children.
And what are you going to do now?
Don't know. Don't know yet. Gonna go, to council and probably end up in a hostel. No, I think this is what happened.
I'll be the first to admit you prejudge them as on benefits, 2 kids, living the life of Riley. But, I mean, I was curious, and then I spoke to the agent. He said, no, she'd been here 4 years, paid her rent as regular as clockwork, and was then made redundant or otherwise lost her job in November. So she's genuinely fallen on hard times.
Hello?
Now homeless, the tenant and her children need emergency accommodation. She calls the council and asks Steve to explain the urgency of her situation.
They need emergency accommodation if that's within your remit. They will have 2 hours to get their immediate possessions, what they need for a few days to get together, and then we can make arrangements to come back and they can collect the rest of their stuff.
Sorry, Steve, can I interrupt you a sec?
But there's a problem. Paul's just spoken with the managing agent, and he's about to drop a bombshell.
Steve.
Sorry?
This is important.
Yeah?
This place has been sold and completes today.
Oh.
It means everything's got to be cleared out by morning.
Oh, right, OK. Sorry.
Yeah.
I have a bigger problem.
Yeah.
This property has been sold.
Sorry.
Sold.
Yes, and
Just a second, Rico.
so it has to be emptied today.
Yeah.
But it's worse than that. The housing office shuts in just 5 hours. If she can't clear the flat and get there before closing, she and her children will be out on the street.
How much is yours here?
Clothes, TV, kids, furniture.
The tenant has a friend at the flat, but she needs more help. She calls her ex-partner, the father of her 2 children.
I need you here in 5 minutes. Now they kick me out.
The arrival of the enforcement team is a shock, but the tenant did know that her eviction was looming.
Now, 10 days ago, I received a letter for a possession order, but when I spoke to the solicitors, it was told to me that this really couldn't happen because they haven't sent me no eviction letters. That was the only one, and even when I was to the council the other day, they told me it's not possible, they're gonna kick you out in 10 days.
We have discussions every single day with councils. They've told the tenant, there's no need to worry, the bailiffs will come to evict you, but they'll give you 6 weeks' notice. Well, the landlords know that, so they apply to the High Court to get it done sooner. So all the time, their entire ethos is to fob people off and hope they'll go away and be a problem tomorrow or next week.
10 minutes later, the children's father arrives.
Hello. Hello.
To help clear the flat.
There seems to be a problem here. I'm sorry. Who are you? That's the question. Who are you? Months have no rights.
Come with me. Calm down, please. Oh my God.
Simple explanation as to why we changed the lock straight away, so we can't get locked out.
I'm talking with you. You came to help me or what?
I came to help you.
Then
Don't
please.
scream at me then.
You
But we
scream
know-
to the
we
people,
knew
you
it's gonna-
scream it.
I know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, calm down.
What's wrong with you?
Do with the agency with this. You
Because I can sue
I'm
all
not
you.
going to put up with this anymore. Either you be quiet and comply, or we'll call the police and you'll be doing this from outside.
Paul hopes his ultimatum will calm things down. But he knows from past experience, anything can happen.
Rent arrears are becoming the fastest growing debt problem in the UK, according to the Money Advice Trust.
Stuart McCracken is a High Court enforcement agent, and Ian Taylor, his trainee.
You can run, but you can't hide, isn't that right, Ian?
They spend their days chasing down debts across the length and breadth of the country.
We're here to assess whether they can't pay or won't pay.
Yeah, well, I can't pay it.
If they won't pay, we're there to turn the heat up. This has gone on now for 4 months.
As the top-earning agent in his firm, 28-year-old Stuart has been in the business for 10 years.
We need to take photos of this place.
A busy week can see as many as 200 writs executed.
That's the exciting thing about the job. You just don't know what you're going into. You have to let me in, mate. Phone the police. Phone the police.
Today, they're in Liverpool. They have a writ to collect on a debt of £4,500.
I used to go out with a girl that used to go to uni around here.
I think if I'd gone uni, I would have got in loads of debt and ended up bailiffs after me.
The debt is for unpaid rent on a residential property. Stuart and Ian are about to serve the High Court writ on the defendant at his newly opened business, a small computer repair shop in a busy residential street.
New era communication there.
Stuart and Ian's High Court powers mean that if the debtor can't pay, they can seize goods to sell at auction to cover the debt.
Hey lads, you all right?
But jobs like these are rarely straightforward.
Hi mate, you able to have a quick chat, mate? We're High Court enforcement. Regarding outstanding debt, mate. Yeah, of course, no problem at all.
The shop is full of computer and electronic equipment. Some of it is owned by the defendant and some by customers who bring in items for repair.
How's business going? You all right? Getting there. Right. Total amount outstanding, mate. Needs to be paid today, mate. It's removal of assets. Total amount we got, mate, is 4,724 quid.
I've been at a job
for some time now, and I've only been on benefits. I just started work. Even at the moment, I'm even owing my landlord some rent.
Right.
I even have to make some calls.
See what you can raise, mate, and then we can take it from there, all right? Actually, I'm not here to put you out of business, you know what I mean?
The defendant knows he owes the money, but Stuart and Ian's arrival is still a surprise.
I was like, oh my God, speechless. I never knew they were coming in. I never received any letter. I had all letters going to my old address to be forwarded to my new address and got nothing.
The defendant has a young family to support, so the pressure's on to save his business.
What's the minimum? Like, how much is the minimum?
You need to tell me how much you can get.
No, I don't know. 300?
I can't accept that. It's going to be removal of goods, mate.
This is what we survive on.
Whenever I make money, I use it to pay bills. Things like that, 500, I'll go and
I can't, mate. 500 quid's not going to be enough. I'll be looking for at least 1,500 quid.
There's no way I can get that, honestly. There's no way.
At the end of the day, it's going to be removal of goods. And it's 1:15 now. I can give it to 1:45, and then we can take it from there, all right? 9 times out of 10, within the first 30 minutes, people try to raise the funds. They might say, look, I phoned a friend, I phoned a few people. I've managed to raise some funds from my business account, but that first 30 minutes is key. Do me a favour, mate, can you just do the inventory? All the PCs, desks, just everything, mate.
Stuart's writ allows him to take possession of every item that the defendant owns in the shop. If he fails to raise the cash, the goods will be sold to clear the debt.
We'll wait till he comes back, see what his offer of repayment is, and then we'll take it from there. If not, we'll start unplugging and get things wrapped up for transportation. Yeah.
The clock is ticking. If the defendant can't raise the money, he'll lose his business. Clapton, East London. High Court enforcement agents Paul, Steve and Ben are evicting the tenant and her 2 small children from their rented flat. Her ex-partner isn't making life easy.
I'm not going to put up with this anymore.
He decides to take the children out to play.
Come on, sweetheart.
Go, honey. Don't be scared of the pigs. Go.
God.
If someone's shouting and raging at me, the thoughts that I have, one of 2 thoughts really. The first one is, why don't you shut up? This is getting you nowhere.
I was admiring simple police officers in this country, but a whole bunch of racists. Cynic.
What I would actually say to them is, this attitude, sir, is getting you nowhere. May I suggest that if you want to shout and rave, go outside and do it. This is the first kick-off in 100 repossessions. I suppose we could put up with it. But this just sharpens it up again. So you now see why we wear bulletproof vests. I mean, Steve's OK, because he's young enough to fight, but I'm not so sure about me.
The tenant has lived in the flat for the last 4 years, but the flat has been sold and she must empty it today. A friend and 2 council workers are helping.
Stuff that you don't need, we will take and leave it at the children's centre. Yeah.
How do you decide what to take?
Take everything.
They're all helping and they're trying to get as much as they can done, as quick as they can to get out, which is quite good, really. You OK?
The tenant needs emergency accommodation, but the housing office closes in 4 hours' time. If she doesn't make it, she and her children are out on the street.
Come on, let's go. Let's go have money.
20 minutes later, the children's father returns.
Yeah, we're going to take bike. Hey, Daddy's going to fix it also because it's broken. It's broken.
Steve spots a chance to smooth relations by fixing the bike.
It's supposed to be working, not fixing bikes. We might have something in the van.
He's going to fix your bike.
I'm going to try and fix your bike.
He's going to try and fix it. Hello.
Because I'm nice.
There you go. No.
We always try and make things as easy as possible for people once the initial upset has gone. It's always things that cost nothing, which makes things easier. And it shows to the defendant that we are actually human and not just there to do one job and that's the end of it. Yeah. Fixed. A happy little baby.
Lots of the tenants' belongings are now boxed up and bagged, but there's a problem.
The question is, where are you going to put it? You're going to have to arrange storage somewhere.
Yeah, I can find some place, you know. Yeah, baby's garden. Probably I can put some stuff in his house.
Okay.
The children's father rents a room in a house 2 miles away, but neither he nor the defendant have any transport.
I'm sorry this is such a bad day for you, but it's unfortunately got to be. If it's of help to you, we're quite happy to put stuff in the van and take it.
Are you offering your van to just transport things?
Yeah.
Make use of it if you can.
Okay. Time is slipping away.
Yeah, we can get as much as you want in here.
It's okay, baby.
Everything's gone quiet and down now. The gentleman accepts what's going on and he's okay with it all now.
It's the first shock. As I said, first shock. These things happen, and you know it's happening, so what do you expect? What do you expect? Right, it's the first thing. Very nice people. Very nice people. I'm sorry about my mad rage earlier.
With everyone's help, just 3 hours after the enforcement team arrived, the flat is empty. The tenant and her children still have a 30-minute walk to the housing office.
We just called them. They said just to go there as soon as we can because they're gonna close.
She hopes they'll find her and her girls a bed for the night, but they're facing an uncertain future. In Liverpool, Stuart and Ian have seized every item in a small computer repair shop.
Do me a favour, mate, can you just do the inventory?
If the owner can't raise the £1,500 Stuart has demanded, he risks losing his business.
We'll see what his offer of repayment is. If not, we'll start unplugging and get things wrapped up for transportation. Yeah.
All the activity in the shop has caught the attention of the local community.
I think that's unfair because my man didn't receive any letter from anybody to say that.
If he gave him nothing and he just turned up and expect to take all his goods.
15 minutes later, the defendant has raised some cash and has a plan to raise more.
Any joy?
Still on it. I think it's I'll get some cash off him.
But the shop's stock is no longer his to sell.
So what's going on with these laptops now, because these laptops have been seized? You can't remove the laptops, mate. They have to stay here.
Yeah, there's no way of getting cash.
They can't be removed, mate. Well,
he's sending the laptop to the owner.
Yes.
To pay him for work that he's done in it.
Yeah.
He's going to get at least £200, right? And that's going to add up to the money he's got to give to you.
Yep. Yeah, it's like, you can't do it, mate. It needs to stay here.
Of them or something?
Receipts of what?
The laptops.
That they belong to somebody else?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can get me the receipts that they belong to someone else, that's fine.
Come on. Is it all second-hand stuff inside here? And sometimes you just take a person's name. You know, it's
if someone's coming in to repair something, you'd have a job sheet of some sort.
If it was John Lewis or some other highfalutin
or
shop,
a normal PC repair
you can see that this shop is just a little poor shop. The man is trying to meet ends together. He's got his wife and his kids with him.
Yeah, that's stuff. I'm trying to make things...
I know, but you got to see it from our point of view, OK? We've already seized assets, OK? Until you prove to me they do not belong to this shop or belong to you, they have to stay here.
Stuart fears that the defendant is trying to remove the most valuable items from the shop.
Why don't one of you travel with them? Then you just sort it out in one go, boom, debt paid, and just take the 2 laptops.
Are you to deal with the debt?
No,
are you going to make a payment towards the debt? Are you
no,
going to make?
But I'm trying to give you
I don't need any. I don't need any advice.
I'm trying to look after the mates here at the same man.
I understand that.
Well, no, you don't, because obviously by the way you're being now, he's trying to pay the debt and you're making it 10 times harder.
How am I making it 10 times harder?
Because you say now, go and sell the 2 laptops now, and
how do I know the laptops aren't going to come back?
You can be flexible.
That's correct. I am being very flexible by the fact that we're not taking anything out of the shop at the moment.
Well, you might have a right here if they try to do that. And you might have to call the police in.
Sometimes in the job you're dealing with an audience that is fully against you. It does happen. But we need to be quite stern as well and explain to them that this is what we're here to do. I'm here to do a job, right?
That's why you're doing a job, yes?
I'm here to do a job, yes. I'm not going around in circles with this conversation. I've already told you it's been seized.
The defendant's friends come up with a solution.
What if I do that, you do that with me? There's a little sum.
I can give me one of myself now. You can give me back on the weekend, though. I've got my own this week. Raise a bit of money together. This is what you got to do down here, you know what I mean? We look after each other down here. That's what it's about, looking after the community.
Loans from the defendant's friends push the total to £830. It's not the £1,500 Stuart asked for, but he's prepared to strike a deal.
So you can get to the grand. You can get to £1,000, can't you? I know you are. I know you are. We're nearly there. We're nearly there. So let's get that grand together, and then see. Look how much he's tried to get this £1,000 together. Can we go on a realistic payment arrangement? All right. So let's get that sorted. All right.
It's been difficult, but because I'm still working on the cash, and cash is still coming in.
We should be able to get a payment plan arranged, because there is money coming in, there is money going out. If we empty the shop, there's going to be no more business, which means no more money. So we've got to keep this business alive so we can generate some sort of income for the client.
20 minutes later.
Have you got the full amount?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Have you got it? Yeah, I'll get it counted out.
The defendants got the cash.
8, 9, 10. Oh, that's done, mate. Done. £1,000 in cash that we've received. Yeah. But it just shows that he must be a well-respected person within the area, and it shows that if he does struggle, he's got mates that can back him up, and which is what we all need. I wish I had mates like that.
Stuart calls the office to arrange a payment plan with the claimant.
I need to know how much he's willing to accept on a monthly basis.
They agree £150 a month to clear the remaining £3,500.
OK, any issues at all, just give us a quick ring, all right? No problem. See you later.
Okay.
See you later.
Won't see us later.
I'm happy. I got more than expected. If one is being good to others, definitely the watch is back. I'll survive, yes. I will.
High Court enforcement agents Paul, Steve and Ben are in an exclusive area of Surrey.
Look at these houses.
They have a writ instructing them to collect a staggering £500,000.
You could probably buy 400 handbags with that and possibly get some for your wife as well.
The High Court has awarded £500,000 in damages following a dispute between 4 family members and a former employee who claimed she was missold a business. The judge ruled in the former employee's favour, but the family has not paid up.
They won't be pleased to see us.
The enforcement team is going to the home of the 4 defendants. Their aim is to collect payments or seize assets to cover the damages.
Oh my good God.
Oh, that solves that problem. McLaren's mine.
No, I'm taking that.
Age as preference.
But this job is not going to be as easy as they think.
If we park across one gate, we'll put a chain around the other.
When we go to a job, we look for the assets, and it's the assets that actually focus people. They don't want to lose their prize koi carp or their prize car. Those sort of things focus their mind to saying, look, OK, we can pay this, or at least we can start paying it.
Seized. I've seized it first.
Have you seized these two as well?
Yeah.
I don't think
no one's in.
There's anybody in.
It's simple, really. You seize all the cars.
If we wait for 2 hours, we can take them.
Yeah.
The enforcement team must give the defendants 2 hours to pay up. If they don't settle within that time frame, any seized assets can be removed. The clock is ticking.
What was it?
It's a McLaren.
A McLaren? Oh, right. OK.
I'd say about 300-400 grand.
It's not only expensive, it's rare. One of only 375 in the world. But if it's on a lease or hire purchase agreement, the team can't take it. With no guarantee that any of the vehicles can be used to pay off the damages, the enforcement team must hunt for more assets to seize.
Careful.
There's a dog round here, I'm going to be cross.
Good luck.
Steve looks for an unlocked door. If he finds one, he can legally enter the house to seize possessions.
Did they pay outright for it?
Ben rings the car dealership to do a bit of detective work.
All right, then. We bought it 2 weeks ago.
No access at all, I'm afraid. I'm too old for this.
The enforcement team must now wait until the 2-hour deadline is up. 30 minutes later, one of the 4 defendants named on the writ arrives. Ben breaks the news that he's here to collect damages of over £500,000.
You owe them £518,750.
Sort of take them first and argue about it later.
The judgment's still in process?
No, the judgment's been processed. It's been awarded and now it's been transferred to the High Court. And we're here to collect on it.
Let me speak to my husband and I'll...
Okay.
But the defendant has other plans.
Sorry.
Would you like to speak to my solicitor?
Yeah, by all means. Good morning, sir. We're High Court Enforcement.
The defendant's solicitor is applying for a stay of execution, another court order that could stop this enforcement action being carried out.
Well, yeah, but it hasn't been stayed yet, and we're here to execute it. So unless it's actually stayed as we speak...
Paul calls the claimant's solicitor to check if the order has been granted.
So I've had their solicitor on the phone to me from abroad. He's saying they've applied to the Court of Appeal. That's right, but they haven't got the stay of execution. No, that's fine, so nothing's changed. We're still rolling. OK, I've spoken to our instructing solicitor. There is no stay of execution, so nothing has changed. The warrant is still live and active.
The defendants have failed to persuade Paul to stop carrying out the writ. The enforcement team arrived at the property 1 hour ago. Now the defendant has just 60 minutes to prove that the vehicles don't belong to her or the other defendants. Otherwise, they'll be removed.
All the cars are not... you won't be able to take them.
But we will take them. We take them and then people produce the documents.
So if you get the documents now, you can't take them.
That's right.
Where's the handle? Have we tried to open it?
An hour later, Paul's deadline for the defendant to produce the documents is up. He calls a towing company.
We now want the McLaren, Mercedes and Discovery picked up ASAP.
The prestige cars, worth several £100,000, are about to be taken away.
We're locked and loaded, and we're just about to fire.
High Court Enforcement Agent Stuart McCracken and trainee Ian Taylor are chasing down a debt in the Cotswolds. But Stuart's concerned about the background to this case.
2 previous bailiffs have been here before, and they've collected nothing from him.
No assets seized, anything there?
No. Let's go have a look and see what this guy's got in store for us.
The man named on the writ is an unemployed decorator. The debt, owed to a law firm, started out at £1,500, but has now risen to over £3,000.
Sadly, the longer a debt goes on for, the more it's going to cost you in the long term. So the key element is to try and get it resolved as quickly as possible.
Stuart and Ian's writ empowers them to seize goods to sell at public auction if the debt isn't settled today.
See which house it is.
It's the one with the massive Winnebago outside.
Someone's going to be camping out tonight. Hello there. We're after Richard Hobbs. Hello, mate. Richard, is it?
Yeah.
Richard. Mr. McCracken, High Court Enforcement. Here to collect £3,170.
I haven't got any money on it.
Right.
I'm waiting for some checks to clear.
You've already been round once before?
Yeah. I've changed my phone number. I've been trying to get hold of you, but I can't.
Right.
I've lost my phone.
Right.
So I haven't got your numbers.
You don't know our numbers at
No.
all from any paperwork that we've left you?
I haven't got...
Right.
Because I moved out and I've only
So
just recently
So what's
moved
happened
back.
about this balance?
But I want to pay it off, but I want to do it, like, monthly.
Yeah.
But what I said
You promised a lump sum?
I did promise a lump sum, but the person that was meant to pay me didn't, because I was meant to get a cheque.
Right.
But it bounced.
Right.
People will throw every excuse in the book. I mean, I imagine it's panic reactions most of the time. We've turned up, they're possibly going to lose their belongings. So it's learning to kind of pick out the genuine ones from the lies.
Need payment in full, mate, or we're taking this?
That ain't mine, that's my dad's.
Right, you need to prove that.
Go and get the logbook. Hold on.
All right.
Not that. It's not mine.
Yeah, we've got a documentation there.
That's my husband's name and address there.
Okay, no problem. They've shown us documentation that this belongs to the father. It doesn't actually belong to the defendant. So sadly, it's something that we can't take. I've got a feeling this will probably cover the debt.
Stuart must find another way to collect the cash. He turns his attention to inside the house.
Nothing in here that belongs to me. I literally moved back. Only my clothes. I moved back 2 days ago. I own nothing in this house.
Yeah.
I've been for a rough time. I split up with my missus 5 weeks ago. Was living in my car up until about 2 days ago when my mum said, "Look, just come home." Now this. Can't get much worse, can it? Anybody tell you that I did split up with my girlfriend and left 4 kids in
I mean,
the
at the end of the day, mate, this has gone on now for 4 months. If you're going to run rings round this...
I ain't going to run ring around anybody. I want to pay it off. It's just...
Yeah, do what you need to do. You need to find some money, mate. People think if they don't have any money, they think that's it. We'll just walk away. But it's far from that. It's working with them to see what they can do to raise some funds.
I might be able to get you 100 quid right now.
No, I'm not interested in that, mate. It's a £3.5 debt.
300 quid clearing in my account tomorrow.
Yeah. Needs to be today, mate, so that's out of the question.
I've got a job tomorrow, starting next week, which is another 375.
But we've heard all this before, mate.
In desperation, Richard makes an offer.
If you want to take my car, take my car.
Yeah, we've already seized that.
The Vauxhall.
Yeah.
Can I get all my stuff out of it?
You can get your stuff out of it, yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'm quite stress-free at the moment. I've just been through a massive breakup and I just can't be do with any more hassle, really. Just want to try and stay calm. Don't need the stress anymore.
Not having the wheels, how's this going to affect your ability to work?
Quite a bit, but I get round it. My dad will always give me a lift to work.
Richard's mother steps in with a solution.
I could probably get you 1,000.
Would you set up 1,000 and then pay me?
It'd have to be 1,500.
Yeah, give you 1,100 and my car.
Stuart accepts the offer, but there's a problem.
I can't get to the bank because I can't drive.
Could one of you lot take it to the bank?
We're not insured. We're not insured.
Stuart faces a dilemma. Leave with no cash or let Richard and his mother drive the seized car to the bank.
Are you able to take her?
I'm able to.
Do you know how long you will be?
About 15 minutes.
15 minutes, right. Yeah. OK. Please start. Please start. Please start. Yes, it started. Whew. It'd just be our luck, wouldn't it? They'd be going to go and get the cash for us and the car doesn't start.
Stuart's taken a gamble. He has no guarantee that Richard or the car will come back.
Have you noticed that they've gone to the bank?
Oh, yeah, left us the keys.
Have you seen the front door? Come and have a look at the front door. You don't leave a door open to two bailiffs. Not in a million years.
Richard and his mother are back with the cash.
Let's see. Oh, she's got an envelope.
They hand over the car and keys to Stuart and Ian.
Right, I've put your keys back in your ignition because the last thing you want is no Winnebago when you come back, is there?
I've managed to get you 1,100.
Right.
If I could have a receipt for that.
Of course, I'll get a receipt for you, no problem at all. You're right there. Right, OK.
Should be 1,000 there.
Should be 1,000 there, OK. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 4, 6, 8, 10. 1,000 spot on. Absolutely spot on. And then you've got the 250s as well.
Richard's mother also takes charge of the negotiations to clear the remaining £2,500.
What realistically can we go on ongoing? Because honestly, I'm sure you don't want us coming back again.
Well, I did say to him, could he offer you £20 a week? Because he's on job seekers allowance.
Is he on job seekers allowance? Yeah. When he gets back into work,
yeah,
that'll have to be increased.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And what about the car?
Look, he's going to need it for work. You can keep the car, because obviously if you get back into work, you'll need that.
Yeah, so I've been out of work for a while.
What do you do then?
Decorating time.
Oh,
yeah, I used to do plastering.
Did you?
Yeah.
It's dead.
That's why I'm doing this now.
They've let me keep my car so I can find work, which is very reasonable of them, I think. I'm glad they didn't take my dad's new Pride and Joy. He's only just bought it. I think I'd have been a dead man walking. And homeless, again.
Take it easy, Richard. See you later. At the end of the day, it's Stu and Ian, innit, on the road.
It's the A-team again.
The A-team, the bounty hunters. Ow! You can run, but you can't hide. Yeehaw!
High Court enforcement agents Paul Bowhill, Steve Pinner and Steve's son Ben are on a particularly difficult job in Surrey. They're at the property of a family who recently lost a High Court battle. The result, they've been ordered to pay damages of over £500,000.
What was it? It's a McLaren. I'd say about 300-400 grand.
It's over 2 hours since the team arrived at the house, but the defendants have failed to pay. Now they'll face the full force of the team's High Court's powers. Tow trucks are on their way to remove the seized vehicles. And Ben has more bad news for the defendant.
I must also inform you that it's just gone up another £35,000.
What has?
The debt.
Why?
Because of the new regulations, if you don't pay when we're here within 2 hours, 7.5% goes on top.
It's not just the 35k. Court fees, interest and VAT push the final figure to an eye-watering £617,000.
The total sum outstanding is £617,742.
So will you just keep adding?
No, this is it now. That is the fee. This is what it is, I'm afraid. So that's yours.
Things aren't about to get any better for the defendant. Paul has now been instructed by the claimant's solicitor to serve another court order.
We have a writ which says we've got to collect this or take goods away. The second part is that a charge has been put on the property.
If they don't pay the damages, the defendants could be forced to sell their home.
So it's quite a serious situation.
But there's one more weapon in the enforcement team's armoury.
The impact of bankruptcy on an individual is a serious issue. Their credit cards are stopped, their bank accounts are frozen, and the turmoil it would wreak on their business lives is pretty disastrous.
I must also tell you that I'm also serving you with a statutory demand, which in 21 days you can be made bankrupt if the full amount is not paid.
3 hours after the enforcement team arrived at the property, the first tow truck arrives. The 3 cars are about to be lifted.
We're just going to carry on until we get
anything, we have to carry on, I'm afraid.
Can you not wait 5 minutes?
No, we've waited 3 hours. We have to draw a line.
The defendant is still frantically trying to prove the cars don't belong to her or the other defendants.
Look,
5 minutes.
madam, you've had 3 hours.
How long will you wait?
Well, we won't.
The defendants have just 7 days to prove that the cars belong to someone else, or they will be sold at auction to help pay the damages. With a charge on their home and the threat of bankruptcy, if they don't pay the £617,000, they're teetering on the brink of ruin.
The object is to focus people's attention. We've come along and we just knocked the chocks out.